Welcome, my name is Cylintor and today we're talking about the basics of the remote bomb. This is the first part of multiple remote bomb guides and without further ado, let's go right into it. Smash Ultimate runs at 60 frames per second and the bomb pull animation takes 39 frames. The same applies to the bomb detonation with 39 frames. For example, a DD forward smash is only 1 frame slower and you can shield just in time. The bomb pull and detonation animation are very slow and even the majority of smash attacks are faster than the bomb, making it very risky to perform close-up. The bomb itself detonates after 12 frames, Link however stays in the animation for 39 frames. The bomb detonation deals 8.4% damage. You can't detonate the bomb while you or your opponent are holding it. However, you can interrupt the pickup animation and still detonate it before they pick it up. The remote bomb detonates on its own after 30 seconds, and it even detonates if a player is holding it when the timer runs out. The remote bomb can take 60% damage before it detonates itself. Fire moves will detonate a bomb on the ground. When it's moving, it sometimes detonates the fire. Some fire moves detonate the bomb better than others. In this example, Lucas' Pique-Fire seems more consistent than Mario's Fireball. Multi-hit fire moves guarantee the detonation, which makes the bomb good against fire recoveries. In Fox's case, it works on the beginning of Firefox, but not while he travels. The bomb has a chance to drop while getting hit. If a move deals more damage, the chance is higher to drop the bomb. You can soft throw the bomb with tilts A or down B. Doing a smash and put will send it further. The opponent can also catch it with an attack, but watch out for counterattacks. You can C-drop the bomb with your grab button and re-catch it with an attack, shield or your grab button. Catching it with your shield button will force an air dodge. If you only catch with C, there won't be an air dodge, but if you drop and catch with C within one jump, you will air dodge. This doesn't count for throwing and C catching it afterwards. And if you wait very long for the C catch, there won't be an air dodge either. But there's honestly no reason to wait this long. Performing a double jump to C catch won't cause an air dodge, because it's not the same jump. If you are not close enough during the C catch, you will air dodge. If you let go of your grab button too fast, you will throw the bomb. The bomb bounces 4 times maximum. The higher you drop the bomb, the longer it bounces. If you drop it too low, it doesn't even bounce 4 times. Throwing a bomb on the ground doesn't count as a bounce. The bomb's hitbox is active as long as it bounces. Also, the damage of the bomb hit decreases with each bounce. You can see the damage of the bounce on the top left of the screen. But the damage difference of the bounces are so low that it doesn't really matter. The knockback also decreases with each bounce. Knockback increases the more percent your opponent has. Even if the difference is not huge, it can change some combos. Here for example is C-drop Bear into up B, which is true at that percent, and now Ganondorf has too much percent that it's not true anymore. Be aware of your opponent's percent when and how you can combo them. Here are the percents and the respective hit stun, which increases about 1 frame every 10 to 15%. This is important for some combos, which we will discuss in another guide. When the bomb bounces on a shield, the hitbox is often gone. But not always. Sometimes the bomb bounces off the shield without hitting it. When you hear the hit or see the shield hit, it is not active anymore. The bomb bounce is very good for ledge trapping because of the long active hitbox. Against certain recoveries, you can also use it to edgeguard. If you time it incorrectly, the bomb doesn't bounce anymore and the hitbox is not active for ledge trapping anymore. However, you can still use the bomb to extend your hitboxes. Down smash usually has 2 active frames on the front part. However, with a bomb, you can extend the duration. This does not only work for down smash, it also works for other moves in Link's kit. While holding the bomb, you cannot use jabs, tilts, grabs and smashes. While holding the bomb, you can still use specials, C-drops and aerials. Keep that in mind because it limits your options, but when your opponent is holding it, their options as well. When using moves, they go into a stale list until it's full. Staled moves deal less damage and less knockback, as you can see with Weak Nair. Weak Nair's full staled damage deals only 3.3% now. Here's the full stale list with only Nairs. We're gonna throw 3 bombs at Samus now. But what is this? The Nair still deals 3.3% damage? Bomb Toss does not go into the stale list. Bomb tosses can't get staled and deal always 1.2% damage. The bomb detonation also doesn't get staled, which means it doesn't unstale other moves as well. But you can unstale your moves by attacking your own bomb, for example with a down air, and then this down air goes into the staled list. The bomb feels more like a second character at this point. And like a second character, it can tank a lot of projectiles like Samus' Charge Shot. The bomb detonation usually deals 8.4% damage. A reflected bomb deals more damage and knockback. The one who reflected the bomb can also get hit by multiplied damage depending on the reflector. Reflecting the bomb after getting hit by the bomb toss doesn't multiply the damage and knockback. The bomb loses its ownership after a bomb toss hit. Picking a reflected bomb up reverts the damage and knockback to normal. If the bomb owner reflects it, the damage and knockback doesn't multiply. You can't reflect what's already yours. This means reflecting it can be bad for your opponent as well, depending on the reflector. In Mario's case, it's more of a timing thing. Reflectors can also reflect the detonation itself. Here Mario doesn't receive damage. However, if you delay the detonation slightly after the reflector wears off, Mario receives the multiplied damage, which can be fatal. One little fun fact: did you know the larger the camera zooms out, the more the remote bomb glows up before detonating? As you can see here, now it doesn't glow at all. When the camera is far away, you can see the white glow. If the camera is zoomed in, you can barely see anything. That's it for the first remote bomb part. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, comment, share and subscribe for more videos. And I wish you all a lot of fun learning Link. See you next time.